Hey lambs, Kai here. Just coming on to remind you that it's December, and as usual, I am off this December. I meant to remind y'all last Monday, but I completely forgot. Either way, I'm taking this time off to recuperate, rest my mind, and prepare for season 6 all at once. So you have Jane, Jensen, and Jessica giving you just minis for the month of December. So don't give up on listening to the victim stories just because it's my AI co-hosts. I will be back in no time in January, season 6, rested, strong, and ready to go. And you will have all of my rantings and ravings and me bringing you these cases in exactly 1 month. If you just miss my voice so much and you want to hear me, I'll still be in the Patreon doing bonuses. Patreon.com/11murder. You can join at any of the bonus tiers, $5 and above, if you just want to hear my voice still and get bonus cases. In the meantime, I just wanted to come in here and give you this reminder, but I'm going to turn it over for your case with Jane, Jessica, and Jensen, and I'll see you in January. Bye. Now part of the Darkcast network. Welcome to Indie Podcasts with a dark side.
It started late on the night of May 17th, when what should have been a normal evening at home in West Conshohocken, Pennsylvania, turned into pure terror. Neighbors on the 200 block of Moorhead Avenue were jolted awake just after midnight by what they later described as blood-curdling screams and 3 gunshots. A few doors down from where those sounds were coming from, 25-year-old Alyssa Rose Wiest was running for her life.
Welcome to Love and Murder. Heartbreak to homicide. It's December and Kai is off to prepare for season 6. This month, me, Jessica, and Jane are bringing you mini episodes for the entire month. Kai will be back, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed for season 6 in January. Before we get started, just a quick reminder. This show runs because of you. When you join the Lamb Fam on Patreon, you're directly helping keep these episodes coming, and you get the extras that the public doesn't. Bonus cases, ad-free listening, behind-the-scenes extras, and early access to cases when it's available. If you want to support Kai's work and the victims we highlight, head to patreon.com/loveandmurder and sign up using any bonus tier. Now grab your apple juice and let's get back into today's case of love and murder.
Before we get into what happened that night, it's important to understand who Alyssa was and who Michael was to her. Alyssa was a microbiologist at GSK. She'd graduated from the University of Delaware and was just starting her adult life. Her father, Kurt, described her saying,
"She was adventurous, she was goofy, she was fun, and then she was serious. All that wrapped up in one person. She was perfect."
Alyssa's mother, Nicole, said,
"We always assumed she was going to be our future CEO, that she was going to run the world. That girl was unstoppable and perfect. Truly."
Her obituary called her our beloved shining star, radiant, vibrant, and full of light. It said her presence lit up every room and her absence left a deep ache in the hearts of all who knew and loved her. Her kindness knew no bounds, her laughter was contagious, and her gentle personality made everyone feel seen, heard, and cherished. She was remembered as a rare combination of brilliance, creativity, and compassion. A beautiful person with so much promise and love to give. On the other side of this story was 26-year-old Michael Dutkiewicz from Warrington in Bucks County. He was Alyssa's boyfriend. Sources said that they'd been together for about 2 years, although prosecutors later said she had just ended their 14-month relationship. Either way, this wasn't a casual fling. This was a serious relationship that Alyssa had been thinking about ending for months. According to Alyssa's older sister, Alyssa had been contemplating breaking up with Michael since March, but she was waiting. One of the reasons she waited was because Michael's family was paying for a trip, and Alyssa decided she would make her final decision and have that tough conversation after the trip was over. That tells you something about her. She was thoughtful, she didn't act impulsively, and she tried to handle things in a considerate way. On the night of May 17th, Alyssa and Michael went out drinking at a bar. The bartender said that he served them 2 rounds of drinks. He remembered Michael yelling at him twice, trying to get his attention, but said he didn't feel Michael was too intoxicated to be served. So they weren't falling down drunk, but alcohol was absolutely in the mix. After the bar, they went back to Alyssa's home on Moorhead Avenue. While there, Alyssa finally had the conversation she'd been putting off. She told Michael she was breaking up with him. Doorbell camera footage later showed Alyssa carrying Michael's suitcase out to the driveway. This evidence showed that she adamantly told him to leave, packed up his things, and carried them outside. That doorbell footage became one of the clearest visual markers of the timeline. The breakup had happened, and she was enforcing it. According to prosecutors, it was about 25 minutes after that breakup when Michael shifted from rejection to action. Instead of leaving, Michael stayed in the house and went straight to his phone. Investigators recovered his search history and found exactly what he was looking up in those minutes after Alyssa ended the relationship. He'd searched for how to load and shoot a revolver, and a variation of that phrasing like, quote, how to load or shoot a revolver. Then, the gun he chose wasn't his. It was Alyssa's. She owned a Ruger .38 caliber revolver that she kept in her TV stand. As the clock passed midnight and the date rolled into May 18th, Michael went to that stand, got her revolver, and used the instructions he'd just pulled up on his phone. At that same time, Alyssa headed upstairs to her bedroom. According to the Montgomery County District Attorney's office, Michael followed her to the bedroom with the gun. At some point, as the confrontation escalated, Alyssa tried to get away, running downstairs. That's when Michael fired 2 shots after her, however. Alyssa was able to make it outside. Ring camera footage captured Alyssa sprinting out of her front door, screaming, with Michael following her down the sidewalk, gun in hand. Neighbors reported waking up to those blood-curdling screams and 3 gunshots outside in the street. The ring cam audio picked up 2 shots that hit Alyssa in the back, a pause, and then a final round that struck her in the head as she lay on the sidewalk. When police arrived around 12:25 a.m., they found her face down on the sidewalk, with obvious gunshot wounds to her torso. She was rushed to a nearby hospital where she was pronounced dead. Back at the house, the front door was open and there was blood inside and along the sidewalk leading out to where her body had lain. Investigators recovered 5 bullets, both inside the and outside the house near Alyssa's body. The medical examiner, Dr. Ian Hood, later testified that Alyssa had been shot 4 times in the back. One of those shots went through her spine, immediately paralyzing her, and then tore through her heart. He explained she would have died within seconds from that wound alone. The shot to her head was a graze wound that hit after she had already gone down. The prosecution later used that combination, multiple shots to her back, the paralysis, and then the final headshot, to argue this wasn't wild, chaotic firing. This was someone intentionally finishing what he started. While Alyssa lay dying on that sidewalk, Michael didn't stay at the scene, didn't call 911, and didn't try to help her. A neighbor saw him standing near his silver Ford F-150 truck right after the shots. Then they saw that same truck speed away from the area. License plate readers later picked up a truck registered to Michael traveling from West Conshohocken to Conshohocken at around 12:25 a.m. that same night. He continued on to his family's place in North Wildwood, New Jersey, and hid the gun there. Investigators later found the revolver in a toolbox at the property which had 5 spent casings in the cylinder. That matched the bullets that they found inside and outside Alyssa's home. Back in Pennsylvania, detectives opened a homicide investigation immediately. Within roughly 12 hours of the shooting, a warrant was issued for Michael's arrest, and he eventually surrendered to police. He was charged with first-degree murder, third-degree murder, and possessing an instrument of crime. He was held without bail at the Montgomery County Correctional Facility and waived his preliminary hearing that summer. Michael's trial started in October 2025, presided by Judge Wendy G. Rothstein, and the jury was made up of 9 women and 3 men. The defense's strategy, led by attorney Tim Woodward, was not to deny that he committed the killing, but to challenge the prosecution's claim that the act was premeditated, arguing instead that it was an act committed in a moment of emotional crisis. They focused on the motive and the element of premeditation. They said that he was blindsided by the breakup and told the jury to think about the emotional turmoil that followed the rejection. Attorney Woodward said that alcohol, mixed with the sudden rejection, grief, loss, and sadness, can cause you to lose your mind. To support this claim, the defense brought forth evidence that Alyssa's blood alcohol level was nearly double the legal limit. They then urged the jury to convict Michael on the lesser charge of third-degree murder, which carries a maximum sentence of 20 to 40 years in prison instead of the mandatory life sentence for first-degree murder. The prosecution, led by District Attorney Kevin Steele, walked the jury straight through the timeline. They pointed to the breakup, the doorbell footage of Alyssa carrying his suitcase out of the house, the phone search Michael made, and the fact that he got the gun and followed the instructions he'd just looked up. Attorney Steele told the jury that Michael's actions were willful, deliberate, and premeditated. The shots to her back, including the others, weren't a drunken accident. The phone search was the heart of their argument, the digital evidence that told the jury exactly what was going on in Michael's head. They said he had the time to cool off, to walk outside, to leave, to call a friend, to slam a door, to do absolutely anything other than load a gun. But instead, he chose violence. Jurors saw the ring footage, saw Alyssa running out of her home screaming, saw Michael following with the gun in his hand. And they heard the audio that went along with it. Then the neighbors testified about waking up to screams and gunfire. The prosecution painted a picture of a woman desperately trying to survive and a man chasing her down until she couldn't run anymore. After closing argument, the jury left for deliberations and was back in about 30 minutes. Barely enough time to read the instructions and pass around the verdict sheet. On October 16, 2025, the jury found Michael Dutkiewicz guilty of first-degree murder. They concluded unanimously that he acted with specific intent to kill Alyssa. Michael, standing in the courtroom in a blue suit, stared straight ahead as the verdict was read and didn't show any visible reaction. Judge Rothstein imposed the mandatory sentence for first-degree murder, life in prison without any possibility of parole. Outside the courtroom, District Attorney Kevin Steele told reporters the verdict reflected the truth of what happened. He called it a terrible incident of relationship-based violence, pointing out the painful irony that this life sentence for Alyssa's killer came during Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Meanwhile, Alyssa's family was left to rebuild their lives after losing their daughter. They started the Alyssa Rose STEM Scholarship as a way to keep her spirit alive, giving young girls opportunities in STEM fields because Alyssa loved science and excelled in it. Her parents said,
"We wanted to create the Alyssa Rose STEM Scholarship to be able to carry on her name forever and give girls the opportunity to enjoy STEM as much as she did."
Even in their grief, they made sure Alyssa's life, her brilliance, her kindness, her ambitious plans for the future wasn't overshadowed by the violence that took her away.
What did you think of this case? Let us know in the comments below. Personally, I'm angry at the defense, as usual. This guy hunted down and shot his ex-girlfriend in cold blood. The defense then tried to spin a narrative where they blamed Alyssa for breaking up with him and tried to get the jury to understand his feelings in this matter. No consideration at all for the victim. You're allowed to break up with someone. That's not a crime.
And newsflash, you don't even have to give a reason for breaking up with them.
That was so slimy of the defense to perpetuate fraud like that and act like she was in the wrong.
Yay, I agree. And they also blamed the alcohol. They blamed everyone and everything except for the one person who should have been blamed. Some defense attorneys baffle me. I honestly don't know how they sleep at night.
Agreed. So, those are our thoughts, and we want to hear yours. Leave it in the comments below or over in the Patreon. Patreon.com/loveandmurder. You don't have to be a paying lamb to write your comments over there.
And if you want more cases, more deep dives, and more time with me, come on and join us on Patreon. Patreon.com/loveandmurder. That's where all the bonus episodes live, along with ad-free listening and extra content you won't hear anywhere else. Your support is what keeps this podcast going and helps Kai continue telling these stories with the victim front and center. You can join at patreon.com/loveandmurder for as little as $3 a month.
Thanks for listening all the way to the end, and thank you for supporting the show. Remember that it's all love and no murder, and we'll see you in the next episode.